All
right, good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our August school board meeting. It is 6:30 and we're going to go ahead and start the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The kiddos do it for us. I know. Ms. Tammy, please note that we have 4 board members present. Thank you. 2.0, agenda additions, deletions, revisions, and agenda approval. Have anything? Okay.
Did you send it to me? Yeah, just a couple of them.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the agenda additions, deletions, and revisions.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda with the additions, deletions, and revisions. Do we have any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Ms. Tammy, thank you. 3.0, recognitions, Dr. Hop.
Yes, I'm going to start with a community member that is here to be recognized. So, little backstory. 13 years ago, the Hoff family moved to Prineville. And as we were waiting for a house, we lived in this little apartment off Main Street. We had 2 golden retrievers and a 9-month-old. And we met this sweet mom and her young 4-year-old daughter. Sarah Lane and Lily Lane were our next door neighbors in those apartments. So they were our first people we ever knew in Prineville. And Sarah is here today, not because she was my neighbor, but we're going to recognize her as the Crooked River Elementary PTO president. So let's give her a round of applause. So if you're a Crooked River parent, I don't know if I've ever seen as many balloons in one place. I think they roll out the purple carpet for kids throwing. The Crooked River PTO is just through the roof, and Sarah's been doing it for 4 or 5 years now. They raised $20,000 at their fund run, and a lot of that was Sarah's out there recruiting business partners, talking with parents. She just goes above and beyond. I know if Kimberly couldn't make it tonight, but Kimberly's like over the moon, and while there's a 4th grader. Yeah. So we've got Sarah for a little bit longer, but Sarah always goes above and beyond. And Lily Lane, that 4-year-old, is graduating this year. So lots of fun. So we really wanted to just recognize such a great Building Bridges partnership with Sarah and her family, and they do so much for the Crooked River community. So we are so grateful. Let's give her a round of applause. Any questions from the board for Sarah?
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It is absolutely amazing.
It's quite a fundraiser this year.
Yes.
Sarah, some people say this is the worst part. Some people say it's the best part. We have to have our picture taken.
Get to.
Dr. Van Opel's gonna take a picture. All right, let's give Sarah a round of applause. Okay, next up, I'm going to invite for our staff. We wanted to recognize the summer school principals. So if you are a Crook County School District employee, you can't wait for June, July, and August. However, we have these staff members that love to keep working through the summer, 2 of which we're going to recognize. So let's give it up for Michelle Gamble. Let's give her a round of applause. So Michelle ran our K-5 elementary summer blast. We had 364. Yeah, we packed out Crooked River Elementary. And it is the funniest thing. We never hosted at Crooked River. It'd always been up at Barnes View. And it was actually Kimberly Barnes like, I never realized how much work goes into summer blast. But we could not so many families rely on our summer programs just to get their kids for parent sanity. But we'll share some more outcomes. But Michelle and her team went above and beyond to make it a fun, enjoyable, and also academic worthwhile experience. So let's give it up for Michelle Gamble. We'll hold on the picture because I also want to welcome Adam Stefanik. Let's give, you gotta stay up for yourselves. We'll take our lead. Let's give it up for Adam. I don't know how many incoming sixth grade parents I've heard, it has to be double digits. Just so grateful for the sixth grade incoming orientation that Adam put together. He coordinated, I want to say it was like 15 staff members, and we had 80% or so of the incoming sixth graders participated. So if you can imagine, in the middle of July to get 80% of a cohort, and that means we're doing something right, making it fun, making sure those kids know how to use their lockers, and Adam did an awesome job. Let's give that for Adam. Jason Mama ran our high school program. He could be here because he's coaching our football team right now. So, but let's get our picture. Let's give one more round of that. Okay, this is pretty exciting. So not only does it take awesome administrators to keep our summer programs going, but we had 3 high schoolers that I was going to say volunteered. Even better, we got to pay them. So they're getting real world experience. They're working with younger students and helping us out. So join me in welcoming Logan Middaugh, Layla Durham, and Katie Anderson. Okay, what I'd like you to say, I'm sorry to put you on the spot. We've got a junior, gonna be a junior, gonna be a senior, and gonna be a is a graduate and heading to COCC. What was your best part, your favorite part about high school, Kirk County High School? And then what did you love about Summer Blast? And I do want to say, Katie has done this all 4 years. So every summer of her high school, she helped us out at Summer Blast. So do you want to start favorite thing about Summer Blast and favorite thing about high school?
My favorite thing about Summer Blast is I get to be outside mostly in the sun with the kids, and they just want to be there because it's so fun. And my favorite thing about Kirk County High School, probably band. It opens my world up so much. It's awesome.
So
Yeah, my favorite thing about Summer Blast is hanging out with the kids and just making them have fun all summer. And my favorite thing about the high school is the cheer.
the cheer.
I definitely say my favorite part of Summer Blast was getting to see the kids rolling on the buses every day with some of them looked a little tired to be there. But at the end of the day, when we sent them home, they were all super happy with how the day went, which was really fulfilling. And probably my favorite part about high school is I think the classes that we have to take, is there's something for everybody.
So cool. Hey, what questions, we have student feedback. What questions does the board have for these 3 amazing student leaders?
Logan, are you tired? You've had a very long, coming off the fair. I don't know, you know how you fit it all in. Good time management, excellent time management.
What would you guys recommend we do differently to make Summer Blast better? I'm not sure if there's something that stands out. I've seen like the progression and all 4 years, it's just gotten better. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it's really fun. I love the science.
I don't think I have to say that too, is I think that for my first year, it ran very smoothly. There wasn't very many bumps in the road. But only as a person that's coming in, it was very easy to get used to and to come to work every single day and just know what to do.
I learned vicariously about every national park that there is, and drop knowledge on that.
Any other questions from the board? All right, hey, best part or worst part, we got. Let's give it a little time.
Okay, 5.0, approval of the consent agenda.
Is this my turn?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
ready. Okay. Before we proceed with consent agenda, as myself is a counselor at CHS and is covered by the 2025-2027 Cascade bargaining council collective bargaining agreement in accordance with ORS chapter 244 and policy BBFB. I have a potential conflict of interest and will be recusing myself from both the discussion and the vote on item 5.9 and 5.10. While a class exemption may apply, I am choosing to recuse myself to avoid any appearance of a conflict of interest.
With that, Madam Chair, I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second,
So I think we have discussion on this really quick because it need to also include 5.11 and 5.12. Or no, just the 5.9 and 5.10.
511 is for the Powell Charter School.
5.11 is,
Charter School Integration and Recognition.
do I have a different one?
5.12 is probably.
Yeah. I have,
I have a different.
I have revised, I have 5.12 as the Calview one,
Oh,
but 5.11,
Okay. Oh, perfect. So we could just have Kelsey, because we have a majority. We
Okay.
could just have Kelsey, if she chooses, just to not vote for any of the,
are you good with that, person? Yep, okay, just making sure.
yeah, good catch.
I don't have any hiccups. Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the table. Do we have further discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Ms. Tammy, thank you. No support. Okay, 6.0, the finance report, Ms. Eva.
Good evening. The finance report tonight is a recap as we close out last fiscal year. It's no surprise we will end the year stronger than budgeted. The three big things that have contributed to that are interest earnings being over budget, one-time state money for an error that was made for forest fees, and 2 years of federal forest fees received in 1 year. That money needs to be set aside in designated funds that are underfunded and to prepare for the upcoming deficit. Our year-end audit is coming up the last week of September, and after that, we'll have final report for you all. During that time, the auditors will send out a communication, all their standard communication that they send to the board, just to make sure that if you have any concerns, you have the opportunity to voice it. Biggest topic for me right now is whether we want to go towards for issuing PERS bonds. So I'm curious if any of you have had a chance to watch the homework video.
Yes.
yeah,
Kevin mentioned that he did.
Yep.
Okay, was it gripping and entertaining?
Oh,
That's the word for it.
that's,
Griffin.
yes.
So if we do want to participate in the process, we need to tell Piper Sandler by September 14th. Sorry, September 13th. Our next school board meeting is September 14th, which is the day after that. So we may need to have a special meeting just for that topic between now and then. The way I'm leaning toward, the way I'm leaning on this, it's obviously your decision, but the way that I would recommend is that I honestly don't know if I would want the district to issue first bonds right now, but I do think I want to participate in the process so that we can be ready. Basically, what would happen is the board would have a resolution that says we authorize the district to sell pension bonds up to this interest rate with whatever criteria you want to have in there. And then we sit and we watch. And if the market looks good and several districts around the state want to go forward, we would then be ready to go forward. So it wouldn't, just by doing the resolution, that doesn't lock us in, it just gets us ready.
And how long does that last? And do these bonds come up regularly? The opportunity to go for the bond?
You really could do it at any point.
Any
if you
year?
wanted to. Yeah,
Okay.
we could just call it Piper Sandler at any.
But if you go through the process, then you're ready even if it's next year.
To go as a group.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you can get multiple school districts to go together as one big group, you're just more attractive to investors. You get more attention on the bonds when you try to sell them. And you always want to go to the market looking really good. It just helps you out, especially if you can get a premium on your bonds and then you basically owe less than what you sold them for. So we'll work on, coming up with some dates to maybe do, it doesn't even really have to be an in-person meeting if you wanna just do a Zoom, or we can come together in person, it doesn't matter. But I do think we need to have another meeting in between now and then, just to make sure that,
On your group, when you talk about you doing it as a group, do you already have a select group? Do they put you in a group? Like, how does that work?
it will be all the school districts who say, yes, we wanna go.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's not by this region or that region or whatever.
Oregon school districts.
Understood.
Yeah,
Okay,
and we get, by doing that school district pool, we get the backing of the state, which bumps our credit rating up and potentially theoretically gives us better interest rates as well.
Do we have an idea of how many schools have already thrown their hat into this?
No,
idea.
because the deadline to tell Piper is September 13th.
that's a Sunday.
I don't know why they made it a Sunday.
Okay, just,
that was one of my questions for them, but I haven't asked them yet.
okay.
Well, I agree, we should meet again, because I have a lot of questions.
Great,
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
so we'll find a time that we can go through all that detail.
Okay.
Thank you, and that's everything I have on the finance report, unless anybody has any questions.
Should we add that to tonight's meeting agenda, figuring out the next date that we need to, or should we just?
Could definitely do that. I mean, we could identify some dates. Scott is sitting on a plane right now. And we could, if we identified 2 or 3 dates, then we could say these are the ones.
I guess we could always do that evening too, so.
And given Scott's previous experience with going through this process, I think it's really important that there. So
Absolutely.
it has to have a time that works with his schedule.
Yeah, because some of the stuff in the video it was kind of scary. And others, it was like, what? The charts were amazing. They were amazing, amazing charts, but you have to be able to really understand the language of all of it.
Yeah, I think they do a really good job of kind of making it so that the average person can generally understand what they're talking about, but it is definitely complicated.
Uh-huh. I have to agree with this. Okay, so yes, we'll make sure we do something with that. Okay. Did anybody have anything else on that? Okay, 7.0 superintendent update, 7.1. We want, Michelle and Adam and Jason is on a field somewhere, so.
Yes, we brought in a great backup. So Mr. Hupton's gonna speak on the high school. However, we can just have one come up at a time.
Okay.
So we'll start with Michelle.
Yeah, so we were at Crooked River for the first time this year, which was great. Thank you to Leland and his team for getting AC units in the classroom, all the extra work they did for that. We had just right at 360 almost kids enrolled. And we kind of at the request of last year took some fluency data again, just to kind of track. We know that we really push this to not only give kids a safe place to be and have clean air and food and all the things, but also academically to prevent summer slide. And we have 87% of kids maintain or improve their oral reading fluency. And that's with, I will say that's if kids tested. The 4th week was when air quality was really poor and kids were inside all week. So definitely saw some attendance fluctuation that week, which makes that a little harder to track. You can't test a kid who wasn't there, but still with the data that we have, that was really great. We felt really, really happy about that. We had a lot of employees, 33 employees plus myself there. That's not including even Leland's team and nutrition staff. That's just staff. They're dedicated working with kids. And part of, I think, what brings so much life to kids and us as staff is the thematic and storyline units that we do throughout summer school. So like we had Magic School Bus in 1st and 2nd, Finding Nemo in 3rd grade, National Parks in 4th and Space in 5th. I think Kelsey was talking about all the learning about national parks and all the things. We had Miss Frizzle coming. Colleen Holbrook was an amazing partner with us. And actually the next slide will cover. We had so many community partners come in, which is one of my favorite things. Our 1st and 2nd grade team, particularly Marilee Smith and Denby Durham, coordinated a lot of community partners, as well as Kelly Cook. But that's so many people who just came and poured into our kids. And I Love that. Colleen Holbrook came every week dressed as Mrs. Frizzle. And my little first grade niece was just in heaven. Like, she's here. And brought butterflies and beekeepers and all the things. So they had a lovely, lovely time. You think it's a lot cram-packed into 16 days of instruction, and the sense of community and belonging and just fun and safety, but academics that are packed into that are really impressive. So thank you to the board and district leadership for continuing to support that program. Again, Cricket River for hosting us, Leland and his team, the nutrition team, so much work goes in pulling that off. It's definitely takes a team, but it's so good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Any questions the board has for Michelle on our K-5 summer program?
So this was the shortest one we've had, right, lengthwise?
It was actually the longest. We typically have only 15 days, so we got to have 16 this
I
year.
thought the first year it was like 6 weeks.
You know, maybe that very first year,
Okay.
That's reaching back into memory.
Yeah.
Where it's usually, it's been 4 weeks historically. Usually it depends the way 4th of July falls, whether we can get 15 or 16 days in there. This year it fell.
Do you feel like it was long enough?
I think it's a good length. It's a really good length. I mean, it's enough to keep kids there and interested, but also not burn out our staff and also not burn out our kids. They need a chance to be kids too. I think it's a good length of time.
What was your biggest group? The K-5?
I think it was first grade. So it like, our 5th graders go to middle school with Adam. So then it's really like 1st through 5th, incoming 1st through 5th. Our 5th grade classrooms were large, but we had only 2 teachers. So they had, 25 kids in there, but a lot smaller. There's just less teachers.
Right.
But we had 4 teachers. 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Primary tends to have a little higher attendance.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool, I just kind of think about the metrics, but to continue to track, that 89%, and because it's awesome to have that one data point, which is a great one, but to like continue to see how that impacts the kiddo as they go through their next school year, because it's a big focus of ours for this year is really around kind of the year-over-year impact.
Yeah.
And I think the thought behind that too is hopefully it'd be some good data to be able to share for grants or funding and
I agree.
stuff.
We did that a few years ago. We looked at those kids that were enrolled in summer school, and then we looked at how they did on their first, I want to say, fall and winter benchmark.
Yeah.
It starts to really stretch the data out, but it's interesting, and I think it is a valid talking point.
Well, you guys did amazing. I mean,
Thank you.
firsthand experience, like my boys, like they wanted to go to school and they thought it was
Good.
They did ask me a couple times why they shouldn't be going to school.
Yeah, they weren't the only ones, I'm sure, but it's nice for fun. It's flexible. We got kids going and coming from swimming lessons and all the things, and it's just, they still want to come. They leave and come back, like they just enjoy being there, so. Thank you.
All right, we'll bring Adam Stefanik up to tell us a little bit about 6th grade orientation. 3 days.
3 days, yep. Good evening, board. Thanks for the opportunity to be here to present our 6th grade orientation. Just kind of a little background. This is, I believe, our 7th year offering 6th grade orientation. It's been a huge success. Really helps kind of calm the nerves of our incoming 6th grade students coming from the elementary school level up to the middle school. There's a lot of nerves and excitement to be had there. This year we had 168 students enroll for our orientation program, which Dr. Hoff mentioned is right about 80% of our total projected incoming 6th graders coming to us this year. And we had about an 86% average attendance rate each day there at the for our 6th grade orientation. We had 14 certified staff members there. We had our 8 core teachers, predominantly 6th grade teachers. Had a couple 7th grade teachers fill in for a couple of our 6th grade teachers that couldn't be there. 5 elective teachers and one of our special education teachers was there. We also had 1 special education instructional assistant and a full-time secretary there to help man things. So the objective, obviously, for the sixth grade orientation is to help the kids become familiar with the school, get a little sample of what it's like at the middle school, kind of the day-to-day operations, transitions. And so when they get there, we assign them a class, a focus teacher class. And then they also get to rotate through their classes throughout the day. They get to go to all their core classes, have some fun, do some team building experiences, not super heavy on the academics, more kind of a fun experience for them to get to know one another. They get to meet the other sixth graders. So you have your Crooked River kids being able to meet up with the Barnes Butte kids, Steam Pillar kids, and other students that are incoming. So opportunity for them to kind of, get to know each other also before the school year starts. Again, like I mentioned, practice transitions, that's kind of new for them. Being able to get to know the building so they can transition smoothly between the classes. They're able to do that through scavenger hunts. Teachers put together scavenger hunts. And opportunities for them to kind of get to go know where the office is, where the secretaries are, where the nurses' room is, all the elective classes, band room, choir room, PE, just the whole building in general. They get to experience like I mentioned, we had 5 of our elective teachers there, so they get to experience wood shop, they get to experience some of our action lab offerings that we have there, art, PE, or just some of the and wood shop, of course, some of the electives they got to experience and do really fun, activities there with our elective teachers. They get to, most importantly, learn our systems and routines there. So again, that's kind of removes that barrier, that sense of, nerve that they might have coming in. So they know, again, how to transition, where the cafeteria is, how to go through the cafeteria line, get their lunches, the cafeteria process or lunch process of eating and then transitioning out for a little free time and play. Just the simple things of, where the bathrooms are and our processes and systems there as well. One of the great things that I'm pretty proud of is we got to include our Honor Society students there as well. So they came in on their free time, couple days, volunteered their time to be there and kind of mentor our sixth graders, help them kind of learn the ropes from a fellow student's perspective. And so that was kind of a great bonus there as well, to have our Honor Society students there to help. And of course, at the end, we get to hook the kids up with some binders and supplies and whatnot coming in. So that way we know all of our sixth graders can show up first day of school with the correct supplies that they need to be successful. I do have to give a shout out to Tammy Crouch. She kind of was the brainchild behind this 7 years ago. She kind of came up with the format and the schedule for this sixth grade orientation, has done a great job. And so each year we've just kind of been morphing and changing a little bit and making it better. But yeah, it's been a huge success. Kids love it. They say they have a great time. They have a lot of fun there. And we have noticed a difference, with the kids that do attend versus those that don't. They come in a little more confident and excited about sixth grade. Any questions you have for me?
It's a great attendance.
Yeah. Yep, some personal phone calls go a long way.
We'll
Yep.
just keep that attendance up the whole year.
Yep. Exactly.
What are you most nervous about?
Lockers.
To this day. To
Yep,
this day.
still to this day.
Don't scare me.
Yep.
I don't
And
like them.
and I think I forgot to mention that they actually get multiple opportunities to practice opening their lockers there all 3 days.
I've been practicing home every day too.
Yep.
It's not working and go there.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say the lockers is the biggest thing. Yep.
No, you hit the nail. At least my little granddaughter was very, very nervous. But when I picked her up after the first day, she was like, that was fun.
Good.
And then she enjoyed the next 2 days a lot.
Good.
So,
That's our goal.
yeah, absolutely. Worked well.
Good.
It's awesome. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Yep.
Next up, Mr. Jake Huffman is here to tell us about the 2 different high school programs.
Yeah, just gonna report for Mr. Mum. So we had kind of summer school by committee. We had several different staff members that worked for a couple of weeks at a time. So we had Christy Struck, Alex Lyons, Natalie Eberhard. We actually had Matt Fisher from the high school that came and helped from the middle school that came and helped at the high school. Michaela Sharif, Corinne Vandewalker, and then Sean Swick, and then Jason Mum. And I'd say Jason and Sean ran the summer school, but they also were the secretaries. They were kind of posted up in the main office because we didn't have a classified staff. But it was a good program. The numbers were a little bit down for freshmen, incoming freshman experience. We had 53 students participate, 40 of them earned credit. That's down about 20 students. I think that has to do with a couple different things. One, We shifted it to the end of June instead of the end of July. And I think that was harder for some kids to come to, but I also think it has to do with the fact that our program that we do in the spring, where we kind of do an orientation for freshmen, has really kind of gained traction. And so kids kind of already have all the answers that they need going into high school. So I think that also kind of brought the numbers down a bit, which is a good thing. And then we had a credit recovery program. And then the credit recovery program, we had 24 students earn credits and 14 of them were back on track. And that included like a 3% increase in our freshmen on track. So freshmen on track's measured by the state. It's something that the state recognizes. And I think for like the last 5 or 6 years, we've been in the 90s, upper 90s, mid 90s, and we were at 90 and we were able to bump that up to 93, and we're still working on a few more students. So that was good. Having a counselor there was really good to verify schedules, build new schedules for new students. And then also there was kind of a tragedy that happened over the summer. And so some staff needed some support too. So it was really nice to have him there to work with that. We also got to share the space. We share the space every year with the drama camp that goes on. And that's actually a ton of fun to share it with them. But we also got to share it with some firefighters for the last week of summer school, which was quite interesting. So yeah, it was overall a good program. Jason was really pleased with it. He did a great job of kind of deploying all the different teachers and serving the students. And the incoming freshman experience is much like the 6th grade orientation. In a way, they do earn an elective credit for that class. And then, but they're learning about GPA and the dual credit classes that we have and the different pathways. And they get a lay of the land at the school. And then I came in and talked to them, and so did several other programs. So overall, a really positive experience, I think, for the kids, and it was great. Questions?
So the credit recovery was for freshmen only?
No, the credit recovery was for all students. Yeah, so we had students that were, to be on track, they have X amount of credits going into their following year.
Yeah.
And so anybody that was off track, we kind of targeted those students and tried to get them to come in. And we had 14 kids get back on track. A few of them were incoming sophomores, so the freshmen that count for freshmen on track, but there was also a few kids going to be juniors and that just kind of needed to kind of make up a core class, or just they needed to hit the reset button.
Yep.
And so it was really good.
It really aligns with, one thing I've heard the board talk about is getting students more time that need it.
Mhm.
So even getting 14 kids back on track is a huge deal, because then rather than starting the semester in a deficit, they're starting just with their peers ready to go. So it really is a great service to those middle of the road, kind of yellow zone students that the board is talking about.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Any other questions for Jake?
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 7.2, back to school report, Dr. Huff.
It's like we blinked and it is back to school season in the full blast. So a quick back to school report for the board, just with some key information. Like we've shared publicly with the board, our back to school one-stop shopping is up. I checked in with Tammy. We've only had a few calls to the district about supply lists, or because it's all in one place, whether you've got a senior, whether you've got a kindergartner. Every school has their school supply list, a personalized welcome back letter from the principal, bell schedules, first aid details, meal and transportation details. All of it is in one place. So this is something we started last year, and it seems to really be helpful. We're getting good feedback and Mason. A couple key dates. First Wednesday in September, we're gonna be going to open houses. So Barnes Butte, Steensville, and Crooked River, Wednesday the 2nd from 4 to 6. That'll be the back to school open houses. The biggest, I wouldn't even say complaint, feedback we got last year was we needed to move the middle school and high school open house to the week before school started. So we, believe it or not, listened and so on Thursday from 4 to 6, the middle school and high school will have their open house. And then Pal Butte, I think Pal Butte serves ice cream at this point, 3 to 6 on that day. And then for a lot of our smaller programs and individualized programs, they just connect with families and set up intake meetings. So there's your open house details. District readiness update. I thought this would be interesting. So, as we head into next year around facilities, we've done, and I'm not even gonna catch them all, and I apologize if we leave them up front. So we have done a number of safety and facilities upgrades. At Hal Butte, they put in a vestibule, a new vestibule. They've upgraded the septic system. They've refinished the gym, and then they've also put in in-ground irrigation. At Steens Pillar, they've added a camera to the front, kind of viewing the playground. They also put some new fencing slats in around the playground, as well as updated the entryway, so there's not doors right when you walk in. It actually helps with safety. Middle school, they've got a big door access project they've been working on. The high school, like Jake said, has just been taking care of those firefighters. We had a lot of firefighters there, and it's so awesome to be able to open up the doors and let them use the facility. And then Crooked River, like Michelle talked about, it's a big deal. Those AC units, like a big deal for teachers when it's hot out. So minor AC units as well as a bathroom upgrade. Leland's gonna give a full report in September because they're still racing to finish a lot of those projects, but that's where we're at facilities. On staffing, we have a few openings we're looking to fill in the next 2 weeks. We've got a SPED teacher position at Barnes Butte and the middle school we're looking to fill. I believe we had some counselor interviews today at the high school. Looking to fill a welcome center position. And then always we're looking to hire bus drivers. So we're pretty staffed up, just looking to plug those gaps in the next couple weeks. Transportation, any family that's wondering about transportation, everything's digital now. So if anyone needs their bus routes, they can log into, it's called MyRide K-12, or they just changed MyRide 360. And that gives them real time where how to track the bus, when your routes are, that sort of thing. And then finally, two other things I wanted to share are, Dr. Van Rokel's been working hard on our professional development plans. This first one's in front of you is the packet. Tammy had left it on your desk. So this goes through every professional development day that we have and the plan for that particular day. One thing you'll notice that I love that Dr. Van Rokel did was we heard from both our SPED staff and our counselors the need for more specific and individualized professional development. So rather than joining the teachers for a writing training, it's like, well, that's not really relevant to our SPED teachers typically and our counselors. So on each day, there's also specialized options, training options for them as well. And then you're also going to see, so that's the certified professional development plan. And then you'll also find this multicolored table. And this has just been an absolute passion of mine over the last 2 years, is making sure our classified folks feel that they have the trainings they need as well. And we're getting better every year. I think when we started this 3 years ago, we were only able to identify 4 or 5 trainings that we offered. And now we have, I think, over 20 or 30. So yeah, we've got a lot of training options, the plans in place, and are excited to welcome back staff. What questions does the board have on our back to school report? All right.
Anybody? Very good, my ducks in a row. Okay, 7.3 nutrition devices preview. Mr. Leland.
This report comes with a treat.
Yes.
Oh.
Stay tuned.
Yep.
Oh,
Don't move.
hey.
So Tammy's gonna wheel those in here, so.
We'd be a little nervous.
So we thought we would provide you with something that, with some food that is actually a recipe that we actually serve students. So these are cinnamon rolls, they're scratch made. The only thing that's not National School Lunch Program compliant is the icing. And the icing is scratch made too, so they made these today just for the meeting, so enjoy those.
I'm so excited, I'm just gonna sit still.
All right, so the main focus of nutrition services is we try to provide a high quality nutritious meal to kids to help them be able to achieve better success in the classrooms. Kids that are not hungry and
are getting nutritious food, they tend to learn better. So that's our main goal. Everything that we serve, I mean, like 51% of our grains have to be whole grain. I mean, the guidelines are pretty strict. There's like no junk food going out to the kids. Even the hamburgers are like mostly commodities, and there's pretty strict guidelines about everything that we do there. So you can go to the next one, Joel. This is data from last year. So we are serving, last year we served 1,700 plus and 900 plus breakfasts and lunches. So the elementary school participation was 67%, and secondary lunch was 36%. Those are both lunch figures, by the way. Elementary, that's kind of what you expect in the elementary schools. We're under CEP, so all kids get to eat for free. It doesn't matter. There's no free and reduced or any of that anymore. It's free for all the kids. I would like to see our secondary numbers go up. So one of the things that we're going to do this year is we're going to do some student feedback and try and get some feedback from students and parents as to what might work better. All the while, we need to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible with everything that we're doing. Okay. So quality standards. So we have gone through 2 audits in the past 3 years. We flew through those with exceptional marks. We had one little thing last time that came up because of daycare that we weren't aware of, but otherwise, ODE's been really impressed with the way we do things. So one of the things that we're going to try and do is some new stuff this year. So new menus and new recipes. While we need to kind of gradually move into that, because right now we are just going to. Right now we have set menus for the start of school, and we're just going to roll with those for right now. Trying to stay under budget is difficult. And the things that we have to help us with that is we take advantage of commodities. So the federal government buys food from farmers or whatever the case may be to help kind of even up all the commodity trade between all farmers and that kind of stuff. So we get that stuff. The commodities for the most part are free to us. We have a certain amount of entitlement money that we use to buy those commodities. And then the only thing we have to really pay for is the shipping to get them here. So we take advantage of commodities. We've also run the farm to school grant for our produce. That was roughly 5% of our produce last year. So we try and take advantage of that. And that doesn't always just have to be fruits and vegetables. It can be even, if you really want to spend your money, you could even do stuff from Pacific Seafood and some stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes this year. Go to the next slide. So like I said earlier, the future of the department, one of the things we're going to start doing as soon as school gets back up and running is we're going to start gathering student feedback and some parent feedback on things. Doing taste tests, especially on new menu items, see how it really flies. Elementary kids tend to love everything. High school kids, not so much. They just have a different palate. Yeah, different palate, per se. We're trying some new stuff. Lots of scratch cooking. I've always been a proponent for scratch cooking as much as possible. However, sometimes it doesn't pencil out. It's a little more expensive sometimes to do that. One of the things we're going to do at the high school this year is we actually set up, we've already purchased some of the equipment to do a snack bar. So we can sell not just a lunch, they can go to the snack bar and buy snacks, jerky, whatever. And it's all Smart Stack compliance stuff. So it has to meet all the guidelines. We hope that actually brings in a little bit more revenue. And that's pretty much it. I would invite you guys to come to the schools and eat.
Nachos.
Anything you want, any day, not
Tuesday.
Tuesdays, nacho day,
What is?
Tuesday. You have to, Joel will take you over there. I think he goes every Tuesday, pretty much. So, we appreciate the support we get from the board on food service and all the other operational departments too. So do you guys have any questions for me?
I feel like food service has to be the hardest job. I remember I had a job doing camp cook, and it was just like nobody was ever happy with any of the food ever. And it's just like it's good food. So thank you for
School food has its own little stigma. It's like, oh, school food, but it's actually really good.
The exception being that sixth grade kid. You love the food there.
Right.
Oh, we don't.
You get local food, it's 1179 or 1169, 1075, something like that. And every once in a while they'll call, yeah, we got a hot cow for you. You guys, how do you guys want that? We usually do ground beef in most of our recipes, bread, but we do get some of that. When it comes to purchasing beef, not the only thing we ever buy. So, you know, buy like steaks or something like that.
Didn't like that.
Apparently not.
Yeah, it was like no. Very opposed to it. Okay.
Okay, any other questions for me?
It is my goal to make dinner or make lunch a couple times in the school year. It's just-
Okay,
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Do you have any applications? For the person left?
yes. There are applications in there.
Multiple.
Yeah,
So,
This might feel dicey, but for USDA kind of regulations, I know we've talked a lot about how we use our students for the CTE, like the construction program, all that. Do we have any potential opportunities for nutrition services? Getting the students involved in that, whether they were to, whether it's processing raw ingredients or actually developing recipes or something like that.
we have done it in the past. We've hired kids to work it's usually along the serving line and it's usually at the high school. But every once in a while, we'll get kids that want to actually work in the kitchen. And you know how we paid them? That was like 2 or 3 years ago. We haven't had it happen in a while.
Yeah, it's been too long.
Yeah,
We could just pay a minimum wage.
yeah.
Yeah, we could just pay students minimum wage. Good. Keep thinking CTE.
Oh, CTE.
Yeah, I was thinking about like the culinary program, developing something.
Um,
And when you're talking about trying to figure out recipes,
that's what I was wondering. Can the kids like submit recipes if you give them guidelines?
it's always something we could explore. I mean,
Won't want that from them.
I don't know if they would,
I know they
if
get
they saw
fancy
how
recipes.
we batch cook food, they would probably go, this isn't a whole lot of fun to roll, 600 burritos in a day or whatever, or make, 300 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But that's what a lot of that's like in the production kitchen.
Mhm.
It's all batch cooking.
I think, our culinary team has won the state championship, I want to say,
Yeah.
the last 3 or 4 years. So perhaps when we get the new manager hired, we could partner them with Mr. Higgins. He's such an awesome guy and so fun that we could say, what are those opportunities? He does, in class, he does a lot of competitions, I think, with this, or they, use one ingredient or something like that. So, developing a school lunch recipe would kind of be a cool thing to do. So yeah, we'll work with
They might
Mr.
be more
Higgins.
inclined to-
We did that when I was in Sisters. We actually ran a culinary school. So they would go to their culinary class, and then one period of that day, that particular class would actually go into the production kitchen and cook.
Oh, wow.
And there was a few problems, but well, nothing severe, but I mean, there was a few problems with it, but it's just like anything else, you just have to manage it.
Eric, I think it's a cool idea and good partnership. So yeah, something we can explore once we get that new person hired.
Thank you, Leland.
Sure thing.
Appreciate it. 26-27 board goals.
Yes. Do not have cookies or treats for you, but I do have a large handout.
Yes.
Hey, so this is just coming back to the board goals. So what you'll notice in yellow, we presented these at the July board work session. And then based on your guys' feedback, we do our best to capture it all and update it. So I'll just go through the yellow parts real quick and if there's something else, and then we would potentially look to adopt these as the goals. So starting at the very top, you'll see in yellow, it says align district goals. This was based on a conversation where, you know, we've called these the board goals, we've called them the district and board goals, and I think which board member, but noted we're all together. The board is the district is the board. So we're just calling these the aligned district goals. So that way it shows that we own them all. They're not just this board thing that sits out that's not connected to our daily work. So just updated that to say aligned district goals. Moving down to the yellow box, you'll see, I think I got made fun of for my titles. We went with achieving academic greatness.
It was Jaren's.
Jaren's.
You gotta tell
Which I had to look up.
I did too.
So yeah, we updated the title on that one. We really wanted to get that great word in there because one of our themes with staff is going from good to great. So achieving academic greatness. You'll see the next one, 1.2. We added the line, this is on AI, I'll read it. Equip students and staff to use AI effectively, responsibly, and ethically. And then Scott said, hey, let's make sure we're keeping a human component. So we added responsibly and ethically while ensuring that meaningful teacher-student relationships, critical thinking, and authentic human-centered learning remain at the core of students' educational experience, which I think is so awesome because one of the things our district really does well is relationships. So we added that language in there. If you move it down to 1.5, I think this was Mr. Cooper's feedback. Instead of just participating in advanced mathematics, we added completing, which makes a lot of sense. We want them to complete it. Then moving down to 1.6, what I loved is 1.5 is we want to increase the percentage of students completing advanced pathways. And then on 1.6, we say we want to reduce the number of students in the yellow zone. So we just added that word reduce in there, as well as off track, because at the high school, we more call them off track than yellow zone. Jumping down to 1.9, the board requested that we add a goal specifically around SPED. So 1.9 is new. It says strengthen district-wide special education systems, practices, and collaboration to ensure every student with disabilities receives high quality, legally compliant, and inclusive educational services. So that's new there. Going down to 1.11, I think Mr. Cooper encouraged us to have a more ambitious performing arts goal. So we ratcheted it up a little bit with 1.11 reading, establish CCSD as a premier K-12 performing arts district by expanding student participation, investing in program enhancements, and showcasing student excellence. So hopefully that's a little more grandiose ambitions for our performing arts program. 1.12, revitalize the CCS tag program and identification processes. I think Eric, you talked about identification. And then we also added, there was discussion around making sure we call out AAOT and AAST. So that's in parentheses afterwards. 1.14, strengthen student support systems at key grade level transitions. I think Kelsey, you wanted something in our summer school, which we saw how great it was. So we said, and ensure high quality summer learning opportunities that prevent learning loss. So that's new. 1.15, we added in, there was a board discussion around, do students know how to advocate effectively? So we added the language in prioritize civics and personal finance education to develop informed, engaged citizens who can advocate effectively, demonstrate financial responsibility, and achieve success after graduation. Those are all the changes in the yellow bubble. What, any additional changes to that, or did we get them all?
I'm just curious what other people think about this, because I think coming from a sales background, like I'm so metric driven, and I know that we have this amazing dashboard, but I just wonder if we're letting ourselves collectively, I'm not pointing fingers at Joel, like off the hook by not having measurable like metrics behind these goals, just because, I mean, they all signify, you know, wanting to move the dial some way, but there's not a lot of ways that we could determine whether we're on track or not. And I know last year it was such a like a year for trying to get like the foundations laid, but I think I just want to encourage us to continue to hold our own board collective to making sure that we're really identifying what great looks like. So I'll leave it up for group discussion, but
I think that's valid. The question, so like the yellow zone kids, okay, so. Do we pick a number, a percentage? But if we pick a percentage that isn't 100%. Does that look as though we gave up? I don't think it does, but you know, there's a lot of statements like 100% graduation rate.
well, I think it is, that's exactly, you're spot on, Kevin, because it really is about defining what great is. And because Bree has done such a great work of like, at least giving us dashboard, we can say, hey, it's at X%, but in the next 6 months, we want it to be at Y%, like. And it's not to beat anybody over the head or to like be judgmental, it's about like, we're not where we want to be, and to be able to ask an intelligent question around why.
You want accountability with numbers to back it up. Yeah.
I do.
I'm just trying to think about how to put it in there. I mean, you have it inherently when you're talking about reducing the off track or the yellow zone students.
Yeah.
It's kind of applied there, but there's nothing in there that says we're gonna use some kind of metric.
Yeah, well, and not everyone is gonna have a metric, but. You know, like 1.15, not gonna have a metric, but when we talk about yellow zones and off track and on track.
1.5 would have a metric.
I'm sorry, 1.15. Well, maybe, but I guess my point is. Not every single one would have a metric, but a lot of these, we do have. Data behind where we're at right now.
I'm not sure if it'd be worth adding it to a singular one, because you kind of want the measurement system to apply to all of them.
One thing we could do in the past, and it wasn't with iReady, but use iReady, for example, is, if I remember correctly, I think it was Mr. Cooper said, can we get to 75% or whatever? So, it doesn't, that number doesn't necessarily have to go in the board goals, but when we report the dashboard, we can just have a line of here's what the board said they wanted, 75%.
Do we have a base now? I mean, do we know what we're at right now to even think about what the number could be? Because I mean, if you say, okay, well, I want X amount, we've already surpassed that.
Right, well, and that's, I mean, credit to Bree, she's done all that work.
Right.
Right, and really, if we're gonna achieve a level of organizational excellence, like anything that we are measuring should have a path back to the goals.
Is that something that maybe can be worked on for then maybe the next board meeting, come back and say, hey, we heard this. We're gonna report back and this is kind of where we're at.
Yeah, historically, we adopt these heading into the years, it kind of sets that tone, so we could work on, something we work on is like a draft dashboard that could have those metrics. So yeah, we've never not adopted the goals in August, which doesn't mean we don't have to, it just is a little different for the board to not have goals going into the year.
I'm not saying we don't adopt them or whatnot, but I am saying, I think we collectively as a board need to step up to the plate and make sure that there's alignment between metrics. And that we have like, and not to go and like blow it up and be like, oh, everything should be at 100%, but it's like, and we would even lean on you guys to be like, what's a reasonable?
Yeah.
I mean, it's even tonight, like, it was to see like summer, at the high school, it'd be like 90 to 93, it's like, okay, like, that's great, you have 3 points, but then you look at it, it's like, that's 14 students whose lives are now on track, like, to me, like, that's great, right? And so I don't know if it's really fair to me to go to be like, okay, Jake needs to be at 98. You know, like, I'm coming from the outside.
Yeah.
But I do think, I do want to see a connection
Yeah.
between the dashboard, where we think incrementally we should be
Yeah.
and where we're going.
I think a great thing along those lines is, even though it looks like a lot has changed, not a ton has changed from last year in terms of like the things we're going after, those key metrics. So we can have on the dashboard, hey, here's where we were at last year, and then here's where we want to go. So that would at the first dashboard presentation in December. So we can kind of work through that and identify what are practical measures that align with each of these goals. Because I think that's the biggest thing is, if you don't have, what's the name, like aim small, miss small, you know, if you're not at a target you're pointing to, you're gonna miss it. So I don't know if those numbers need to go in here, but we do need we pride ourselves on accountability and being a data-driven district. So yeah, I think somewhere when we're presenting the dashboard, these are the measures where we're at last year. This is where we want to be this year. We can make sure to include that in there.
And like, on the dashboard, it should say, you know, this is 1.12 or this is 1.13.
Yeah, a
Because
direct tie.
there has to be that linkage.
Yeah.
That would actually make it better, because then you could have your goals be qualitative and then the dashboard being your quantitative measure. And just linking the two.
I don't really have a strong purpose on how it's done. I just think it should be done.
Yeah, that makes total
I
sense.
agree, because I struggle with, if we say we're gonna reduce the percentage of kids in the yellow zone, if we do, if not we, if the principals and the staff does it by 1%, is that a success?
I don't know.
5%, I don't
Maybe it
either. That's where I struggle at picking a number. Probably getting feedback from the principals of, hey, if we were to attach a percent to this, what do you guys think is a reachable?
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. I'm not even looking, but I can see Dr. Van Roppel's brain spinning and ready to go. But yeah, I like that idea of dashboard having a direct tie to each goal, and the conversation around some of these are qualitative, some are quantitative, but when they are clearly quantitative, having a measure, and this is what we're shooting for.
And we usually do have that side chart on the dashboard that addresses board goals with the yellow
Yeah.
and red.
I just think.
But
there's
maybe
another-
having
we
the
can
actual
take it up a
numbers
level.
linked it.
It'll be so fun.
Yeah, good. And it's the right, I always come back to like, this is the right work of the district to be doing, you know, so.
Well, and I think, like, to me, another incremental goal is, again, never just throw anybody under the bus, but to be able to even have a productive conversation of, it's not here, like, why? Like, sometimes it's a resource issue, sometimes it's X, Y, Z, you know, there's always. And just to be like, how can we come along as partners to get it where it needs to be?
Yeah, like that. Okay, so adding quantitative data goal-ish to the dashboard. So we'll work on a couple drafts and go from there. Any wording or language changes to the yellow box?
You got rid of all your germs?
Apparently. Okay, going to the blue, we only have a couple changes here. First is 2.6. Engage the community in shaping priorities to inform a future bond and inform facilities improvement projects. And then 2.8, I think this was maybe Eric, expand CCA staff and student presence, participation, engagement in community events. So we just added student presence. And I don't know if you're at the fair, first ever Crook County School District Fair booth, and it was a raging success. So Tammy and Bree helped put that together. So awesome.
Smoking heat and all the
Oh,
things.
no. I almost visited you guys, but it was too smoky.
Smoky a little dusty at the fair this year.
One of the employees you recruited was in a club, so we sat there with them.
Any questions on the blue updates? All right, jump down to the green, again, changing the title, and this one actually changed significantly, strengthening schools and systems, and that's one of my big pushes with our admin is what are those systems? What are those things? We're doing a lot well. What are those things in making sure that our systems are solid? So the changes here, I think 3.6 starts us off with, I think we said implement, and Scott said, oh, we're already doing it. So let's find a different word. So strengthening the CCSD transportation system by ensuring consistent implementation, clear procedures, protocols that staff that support the safety and well-being of all students who utilize district transportation. We had tremendous success relative to what we'd seen before with transportation.
Yeah.
Last year, we implemented a whole
Okay.
tablet system that checks kids in and out. Huge credit to Lindsay Price, our transportation manager, for putting that. So we're definitely on the right track there. Hey, 3.7, completely new goal. And we started it off today. So highlight the role of nutrition services as a key contributor to student success by providing nutritious, appealing meals that support student learning, wellness, and engagement. So we really want to elevate nutrition services and the role they play in our district. So that's a new goal the board asked for. And then 310, I believe it was Eric asked about, we heard a lot, and we see this in staffing around the space available for our SPED classrooms. So we added that language in thoughtful learning environment design. So that way we're incorporating how we're looking at space. And we're actually already, the main one is at Steenspiller, and we've already made some good progress on that heading into next year. Two more, 312, modernize district human resource systems, processes, and the evaluation system. This Wednesday, we'll actually meet with our certified association to go through the evaluation system with the work group and looking at how also getting our administrators training on evaluation, professional conversations, those things. So looking to do there. And then 313, this was Kelsey, and it was around school counselors. Ensure all CCSD counselors meet Oregon TSBC licensure requirements. Joe did pull that, and we have two groups. They're all licensed in a sense. You have to have a license to work at a school. But there are those that have what's called, I believe it's a conditional restricted license, where they have to be enrolled in a counseling program, but they haven't completed one yet. The ODE or TSBC allows that for, I believe, up to two to 3 years, I want to say. So those are, they have a license, but it's conditional. They have to be in a program. They have to be supervised by a fully licensed. So we have 4 counselors in there, that group. And then I believe it's 5 we have that have what's called a preliminary license, which is strange language because it means you've completed, you're a fully licensed counselor. So, so we're already meeting that goal. And we talked a little bit about adjusting some language around there.
Yeah, and I think, like, as Joel and I were talking to, it's like, I think that's an input into maybe a more student-centered goal, because always students first around. I think even seeing like mental health and SEL training as a key part of, you know, strengthening our schools. And I know that can be a little bit of a touchy subject, but I think, again, it's time for us to have a little bit of swagger, not swagger, but I think confidence about the credibility that we now have as a school district. And, you know, there's ways to protect, you know, parent choice and whatnot, but I think seeing and acknowledging kind of mental health and counseling as an input into making sure that students are successful is important. And, you know, I'm really excited. Joel has done a really great job about helping get the people who are working on their license and some training. So I'm excited about that. Or even, I know that you guys, Jake, were talking about even possibly having like a late program intern. I think that's a great idea. I think it puts the fact that our counselors are the front line for suicide screens, I think it keeps me up at night. And having somebody who's early in their program being thrown into some of the most vulnerable, complex situations is, I think it gives me pause, and so I really would love to see us just focus on making sure we're setting everybody up for success and not putting students in dangerous situations. So, I mean, I think that all came out kind of convoluted.
What if I take a stab at it? What if
Yeah,
you
please
said,
do.
equip CCS counselors with the resources and training needed to meet the mental health needs of students? Something to that effect?
Yeah.
Because it was like resources and training are what I heard were the,
And I'll defer to I know I just talk a lot, but I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks about it too.
Are you wanting to change the goal on here?
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing there is the input into the goal versus the end goal.
Are you still wanting to keep 3.13? And then just add 3.16?
I think something to the lines of what Joel was saying, and then, you know, how we're talking about metrics that are driving that goal, I would put moving kind of the balance of our counseling, district-wide counseling team towards, you know, either very late stage program hires or fully licensed. Well, I'm sorry, I'm misspoken, fully done with their program hires as being a goal.
so.
Or sorry, input into the goal. And something to.
So if I'm understanding right, we'd cross out 313 and replace it with equip counselors with the resources, training, I'm gonna say, and mentoring necessary to meet the mental health needs of students.
I would love to hear what other people think, because I mean, that sounds good to me, but it's not just my choice, so.
I mean, I thought you did a good job highlighting, so okay with that change.
Yeah, I am.
And if you still want to get it done by August, we do have another pros meeting that we're gonna have to schedule. You can see we cover it there.
Yeah, or I mean, the board can dump them tonight.
With the changes.
Oh, with the,
Yeah,
with the
changes.
gotcha.
I'll read it one more time. So I just wrote that down while she was talking, so I'm not saying it for. Equip CCSD counselors with the resources, training and mentoring necessary to meet the mental health needs of students.
And that's replacing 3.13.
And then the inputs.
I was just gonna say, I kind of like having making sure they meet the licensure requirements too. in there, though.
Add
If
on
we
to
just
that and ensure.
Do we?
Ensure.
I don't know.
What was that?
Don't, isn't that something that has to be done anyways?
They all are licensed. You have to be licensed.
Get an
for it.
emergency
It's-
license.
Is it just because of the verbiage of it?
It's the type of license.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's that TSPC. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, because people can get an emergency license
Right.
having just started a program.
Right, I wrote that down.
At all, so like that's my main concern, is to move away from that as much as possible from hiring people who are like just literally started the first online class. Because there's so much nuance around how to have appropriate therapeutic relationships with kids.
For sure.
How is that pool?
So, and that provides the context of this conversation, so the counselors we hire that have that conditional license, if the pools would have no fully license, so that's
Right.
typically why we hire and why the ODE creates that pathway, is because otherwise your alternative would be to have no counselor. So that's why that whole issue exists.
Yeah, the pool's always been small.
I was gonna say, there's a shortage,
The
right?
pipeline of counselors is very hard, and then particularly when you think of in rural towns like ours, so that's it, like everything, there's layers to it. But again, for those that we are hiring on a conditional license, do they have mentoring, or do they have a supervising counselor?
Right.
So those are the things that HR works with to make sure, you know, when we talk about suicide screenings, we would never have, or I believe we would never have a conditional licensed person doing that. It's always done by an experienced counselor is the goal at least.
Yeah, but, yeah, I think, I think it's an area that. Cause it's like, for example, at the middle school, we don't have anybody who is done with a program at this point.
Well, it is just the goal. It's not a must.
Yeah, and I think it is, it goes, the point of any goal, right, is never to assign blame again, but it's to identify, you know. Great, we're working within constraints, but it's like, how do we start to do what we can control? For the pipeline, or how do we make it so that people who are here on provisional license want to stay? Was like, because it's like, it. You know, we have, what is it, 4 or 5, 4 who are on provisional
Yeah,
licenses.
it's 4 on the conditional and then 5 on the full license.
So it's just like, and I think now the additional investment in mentoring them is great, and. I think. And just even talking to them, like, what will it take to make you want to stay here? Cause it's like, we don't want to become a training ground for people to leave.
Yeah, and it reminds me a lot of our conversation around the nutrition services, right? Where putting it on the board goal makes it so that we're reporting 3 times a year to the board. It just elevates it, and then we can figure out what those inputs are. Looking at licensure, reporting on licensure, yeah, it just elevates to the board, which is a good thing. I think it was last January. We had them present, our counselors present with the plan to
Yes.
have them come back in October. So I think this is one that is worth putting on here and something we can definitely continue to evaluate and look at.
Can you read it one more time? I'm so sorry.
One more time for you.
I'm a visual person.
Equip CCSD counselors with the resources, training, and mentoring to meet the mental health needs of our students.
And we're just gonna add that as like a 3.14 then,
I think we just
Yeah.
replace 313
Oh.
with that,
totally replace it.
fully replace it.
But 313 moves to our metric dashboard.
Yep.
That Ray is gonna design.
Okay,
I'm kind of jealous a little bit. Like, I wanted to work. Look.
and that's the last, that was the
That would
last
be the
change
last
that
one.
we've had people, okay. All right, so at this point in time, if you had finished.
I have described all the updates.
Okay.
To the district, the aligned district proposed goals.
Okay, so then we need a motion with the,
I would just say, I would love to see. Even if it's not perfect, a first draft of making this in September.
Yeah.
Feel reasonable? Yeah, absolutely.
so you don't wanna do,
No, I'm good with the goals. I just want to make sure that we have a timeline on the dashboard, adding metrics against.
okay. So we're still back to,
Sorry.
no, you're good.
I gotcha.
Okay,
Madam Chair, I move to adopt the goals as modified.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the district goals with the modification. Do we have further discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Thank you for all of your hard work on those. That is a lot. 7.5, new policy website and our board packets. Miss T.
Yes, so this is just some follow-up conversation. We discussed this at the board retreat. So I just want to follow up on that. One of the things we were looking to do is just to find a way to better serve our community and staff by updating our existing policy website and also updating the board packet process. So with the policy website, we were looking for a way that we could find to make updates more timely, and then also offer some multiple languages, so it was easier for our community to access those policies. And then we wanted to find a more efficient way to prepare the board packets for everyone. So Eric and his team were kind enough to identify Simbly as the software program that could help us with that. I handed out some samples of the agenda and the board packet. I also emailed out a link to the website for the policies, so everyone can come take a look at that. we currently have our policy website up live, that went live in June. We also have our old policy website up, which we intend to, that will expire at the end of September. So I just wanted to ask everyone, what did you think? Do you have feedback, questions? What are your thoughts after seeing all that?
I liked that you had a link to where you didn't have to scroll through pages. You just click on it and it just takes you
Makes
there.
it quicker, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because when you have, when the board packets are very large, it's, you're like, you're scrolling and scrolling, but on this, you just click it and it goes.
Thank you to Scott for suggesting that. I didn't never even thought of that. So I'm
Right?
glad that's making it easier.
Yes, and then I did look at the or the policy website too, and it seemed much more efficient.
And it looks really professional, like the way the policies look now.
Yeah,
Yeah, good. Anything
that's
else?
just me.
Like it.
One big feature that's a huge improvement is the search feature as well on policy. So we think that'll help community as well when they're looking for specific policy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If it works for everyone, I was kind of thinking about moving to the new board packet in October with the October board meeting.
Yes.
Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Any concerns with that? Okay, and then
Go
we'll
to September if you want.
just.
I mean, it wouldn't bother me.
Whatever's easiest.
Yeah. But. Perfect, kids.
Yeah, whatever you want to do on that.
Well, don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or as we work through the transition, if there's things you want to see. You know. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Okay, our favorite time of the year, or the evening, policies. Here we go. And they have been hard at work.
Yes.
Dr. Hoff.
Kevin is a great representative of the board on the policy committee.
Absolutely.
We met, actually, we had a committee meeting about midday today, so. More policies coming. What you'll see, 8.1 through 8.9 minus 8.5, which has been stricken. The ones that have been stricken, Anna's taken, they're all financial one. Anna wants to take a deeper dive, so those will come back. But all the other ones, we're actually moving forward to the board with no changes. So the policy committees reviewed these policies and is saying nothing needs to be changed. This is just so that we can update the date that we've reviewed them and they still align with practice. You will begin to see at future board meetings bunch of policies that we have pulled and made some revisions for. But right now, these are all 8.1 through 8.9 are no changes. But they have been reviewed and approved by the policy committee.
Excellent.
We ready for a motion?
Yes.
Okay. I move to accept all policies with no changes going forward.
That are listed
There, so do you want me to list them all?
and not stricken.
8.1 through 8.9, with the exception of 8.5.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to go ahead and adopt the policies CBA, CCB, CI, CM, DB, DB, DBE, DBJ, DBK. That have no changes whatsoever. And the second, do we have further discussion? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you.
Here, I believe, first reading, it has to be unanimous, which it was, but I don't know if it has to be unanimous with the 5. So
It does.
you have
Okay.
approved them, they will be back, for, to be approved again. To change your mind between now and then.
So those will just go on the next agenda and then, we'll just know that.
You'll know that you've approved
We can-
once
okay.
and, we'll approve them on second.
Thank you for
A
that.
very technical,
I knew it had to be unanimous. I didn't.
we'll
remember
confirm,
five.
but
Okay.
I believe that's fine.
Okay. Upcoming dates. Policy Review Committee, meeting August 17th, 5:30 at the district office. Welcome back event, Pelview Community School, September 3rd, from 3 to 6. Open House Elementaries are September 2nd, 4 to 6. Welcome Day of Pelview Community School is September 3rd from 3 to 6. Open House Middle and High School, September 3rd, 4 to 6. Open House Pioneer High School, September 10th, 4 to 6. First day of school for grades 1 through 6 and 9th are September 8th. First day of school for grades 7, 8, 10 through 12, September 9th. First day of school for kindergartners, September 14th. Policy Review Committee meeting September 14th at 12 o'clock. That's a virtual meeting. School Board meeting September 14th at 6:30 p.m. I'm assuming district office. Policy Review Committee meeting September 21st, 5:30 p.m. at the district office. We just love our Policy Review Committee people. Public comments. If you wish to make a public comment, please complete a comment card prior to the agenda approval. If you're viewing online, please type your full name and public comment in the Q&A prior to the agenda approval. If you're recognized, please state your name and any group you're representing. Keep your comments to no more than 4 minutes. The group visitors with a common purpose should designate a spokesperson for the group. You wish to request that the board consider an agenda item, please contact the superintendent at least 1 week prior to the next board meeting. And per policy BDD8, the board will not hear comments regarding any individual district staff member. If you have a complaint about a specific staff member, please contact the superintendent or the board chair. Mrs. Tammy, do we have any comment cards? Nope. Eric, do we have anybody online? Sure. Okay. So at this point, it is 7:56 and we are adjourning our meeting.